My day always starts looking at my phone. Might be a distraction for you, but I want to look through all of my notifications, YouTube, Discord, Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it now, and start my day clearing up the night's events. Today, I got a message about my dad leaving his phone at home, so like the good son/brother I am, I went downstairs, said morning to the dog, then drove my sister to dad's work to drop his phone off. Not a normal morning, but every morning is different, so there isn't really a no morning routine here. Unless you count opening the blind and turning on the computer a routine. After which I started what I call my warm-up. Having done 2 degrees in sports education, it's the terminology that suits my practice. On this day, I saw a video from Justin Sung in my notifications on my phone while I was waking up, so I started my day by watching and taking notes on his presentation. While watching the video, I took a look at my life management system, aka my calendar. Realised I didn't have water, so I went to fill up, ready for my first session. And no, I don't drink coffee, or tea, or any caffeine, not in the morning, not at all. The jug thing is something my mum likes as it filters the water. Doesn't affect the taste really, but prevents limescale buildup in the kettle, making cleaning it easier. After that, I continue the warm-up by looking through my Twitter bookmarks. Why? Because I didn't feel ready for my editing session. Every warm-up is different. Some are 1 minute, some are 1 hour. There are no rules here, but a philosophy of practice I follow. Note, I do watch videos at ×2 speed on YouTube, and this video is relevant because the learning theory discussed is what my sessions in the day could be related to. So my warm-up includes content that relates to the practice session, but not always. Sometimes I don't finish the content and just go into the work. The warm-up has done its job, so let's just get going. Of course, living with others, there are interruptions. My sister coming in, not asking anything in specific, just wanting to say stuff. So I listened and then got going. And this is where my camera with its 30-minute timer will be fun to manage in this edit. But my first practice session was editing. Not something I enjoy, but I have made it enjoyable by making it relevant and cognitively interesting, using simple animations to illustrate topics I'm researching. The actual editing isn't hard. Add some words, move some points around, but the words I use, the images I create, need to explain the topic or concept. So I'm wrestling with the ideas in different ways, not just writing it down or talking about it. This practice can help with connecting ideas. I think the Fitz and Posner model, along with the fundamental assumptions, links with Justin's presentation that I watched this morning, but I'm not sure, so that's an idea that I'm going to have to note down. So the warm-up being relevant to practice, creating other opportunities for action. After that session, it's time to walk the dog. This time slot is my thinking on the move session. It could be a walk, a cycle, or walking the dog in this case, but when I'm walking, I listen to podcasts. Again, fast at 2.7x speed on Spotify, taking notes on Morgan while I'm out and about. If the conversation repeats things I'm familiar with, I just listen. The notes I take, if any, are novel ideas, often not actually said in the podcast. Most of the time they are connections I've made between the conversation topic and something I am already thinking about in my Obsidian, the note-taking app. However, when I cycle, because it is higher intensity, I listen to music. During the slower parts of the session and the aftermath, I often think differently about earlier sessions, or solve an issue that I had during the morning session. In this case, I walked the dog and had a couple of notes on Morgan. Listening to 3 podcasts in 1 walk is common, so when I go home, I flesh out the thoughts. Also, look through any notifications that come through before heading upstairs to do a warm-up before lunch. I know that sounds odd, shouldn't it be a cool-down? No. Maybe I can go into the literature about cooldowns another time, but lunch is a different session, so I want to warm up for lunch. Essentially closing the open loops, putting Morgan notes in Obsidian, getting to a checkpoint in the editing, in this case finishing the session for the day, and answering notifications. So lunch, nothing too big, because I don't eat breakfast, sometimes I have cereal for lunch. Sounds weird, but like I said, No rules. I will either watch the news or some series. Most of the time, I don't finish episodes, which could annoy some people. I may watch like 20 minutes of the news, then 25 minutes of an episode. I'm watching Hannibal at the moment, so maybe I'll leave like halfway through an episode and watch the next half the next day. Afterwards, I'll do the washing up, which is my lunch stuff, anyone else's lunch stuff, and the breakfast stuff, and the evening before, like tea. And this might sound crazy to you, but I see this as my recovery session. Having done 2 high-intensity hours, 1 moderate intensity and 1 low intensity, lunch is a practice session because the news is often research-related, and shows are often psychology or philosophy-related, so also research-related. For washing up, I just listen to music and jam? Yes, jamming while washing up. I am a real person, honestly. Singing to songs, thinking about just the washing up. This is a mug. This is a bowl. Look how dirty that plate is. It is how I recover from the morning, okay? After that, I'll then do my warm-up for the second high-intensity session. As this session is writing, I want to do something that gets me thinking. Not necessarily something to do with the topic I will be writing about though. So a bit of YouTube, tech videos, drama videos, content creator videos. I will often add articles and papers that come up to my Zotero as well to look at another time. And just like the last warm-up, when I feel I'm ready to start the session, I go. No time limit, no planned start or stop, all on feel. So in the morning, the video editing was about direct perception and about how learning isn't just in your heads, and the relationship between the organism and environment is where learning experiences happen. This writing session is about banning phones in schools. Now, this topic is explored through the week, so this session doesn't cover everything, but the focus here is to get some background on what is currently happening, looking at journalists and what they are saying, teachers, parents and students online and what they are saying. Later sessions will go into the academic literature, but that is this research topic. Each research session will be different. But while I'm looking at all of this, I'm also thinking about the connections between extended cognition, a video 3 weeks back, measuring human expertise through qualifications, a video 2 weeks back, and connections to the video I edited in the morning session, organism-environment relation. Some of these arguments are so flawed, and I think I'm getting a little bit too emotionally attached to the narrative that they're spinning, so I'm going to take a break and look at something else. For this break, I decided to play pool. It could be anything really, just nothing to do with the high-intensity session. Now, the warm-up to this second writing session, different topic by the way, was really quick. I read over the session plan, looked at my notes, and went straight in. Like I said, no rules, just following my philosophy of practice. Unlike the other sessions, this is not going to be in a video. Some content shared online gets me questioning the conversation, be it the science they reference, or more often don't reference. The conclusion is something I don't agree with. I might have a different interpretation, or maybe I want to expand and go deeper on something that was said. Previously, this was all done in my Obsidian notes, all for me. But I have recently started putting them on Substack, link in the description if you're interested. I'm now going to go for dinner, but I'm sure my family don't want me recording them while I'm cooking, so I'll get back to you once I've eaten. Now, dinner is another recovery session in the day. We talk at the table as a family about work drama and who knows what, but then I will go upstairs for another 2-hour session. My sister having a moan, just life and things in general. All I do is listen. I do the same with her. If I have something to moan about, I do, and she listens, nods, and we move on. However, this is the day Obsidian released the properties update for insiders, so I did that instead. I made a video about that and explored the update. After watching TV with the family for a couple of hours, that is often low intensity stuff as I take notes on things I think about with the films and series we watch, just like at lunch. I then do some reading. Yes, that is a textbook, and yes, I read textbooks for fun. This is why I don't have many books. Each one is long and very dense. I also read them more than once. So I take notes on my phone in Obsidian, which syncs to the PC. Those go into Obsidian because they are not quick things. Morgan is a quick note, Obsidian is more fleshed out. Then to close out the day, a chapter or two from a storybook. Fiction, non-fiction, just not a textbook. Getting to sleep is a whole other challenge, but maybe we can discuss that another time.